Lumberjack! Yeah!
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
We're here in the banks of the St. John River in Bath, New Brunswick for the 3rd annual Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition. It's part of a large balloon festival they have here every Labor Day weekend. Hi, I'm Bill Deeb with my co-host, Lumberjack sport analyst Rod Cumberland. Rod, a great field of competitors. All the Maritimers will be here, a couple of Quebecers, a couple of Americans. And this week we're featuring the Echo Women's Stock Saw.
Echo Women's Stock Saw, they use CX 600s chainsaws, and Janet Walker has been just blowing the field away, men's and women's times, the last few shows, so I'm going to be watching for her to take first place in the ladies' stock saw.
And the men's single buck, a lot of great sawyers, a lot of great saws here as well.
We have Marcel Dupuis, Scott Reed, Don Lambert, the Cumberland boys, all the regular ones, but I'll tell you, the sleeping giant in that is Jeff Larkin. He's been really coming on strong in the single buck. He'll be in the top 3 is my prediction.
Well, the town of Bath has a population of only 532 people, and I think they all come out for the Lumberjack competition and the Balloon Festival held every Labor Day weekend. And Rod, you were telling me this Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition is one of the best attended competition in all the Maritime Lumberjack Association shows held every year. It's right down the road from Florenceville, New Brunswick, which is the home of McCain Foods. In total, we have over 25 competitors competing for over $6,000 in prize money and 13 different events. We're going to be getting started with the Springboard Chop. This first competition is going to be Trevor Schofield taking on Dave Patrick, and we're showing you the top 4 heats.
Well, the most improved lumberjack in 2016 in the Maritime Lumberjack Association is right here in this heat, Dave Patrickin. We're watching him now do his first pocket. He's got his hands full with Trevor Schofield, who dusted the axes off a little bit a few years ago and is right back in the running here in the lumberjack sports.
Now, Rod, as we look at these two competitors, Dave and Trevor, we see duct tape all over Trevor's tree there. What's the advantage of using the duct tape, and where did he learn that skill?
Sometimes what happens is the popple will actually split out if they don't get their pocket in deep enough. Guys that are trying to go up in 4, 6-stroke pockets, it may not be in the pole quite deep enough. When they get all their way to the back of that springboard, it'll actually split the tree off. So the duct tape actually works much the same as bark. It holds that slab really tight to the tree and it'll keep it from actually falling out.
Well, typically you see the duct tape used a lot out west of the can log employees. You see Dave Patrick getting up there in his second board, looks pretty comfortable on it. Trevor Schofield behind him right now. You see Dave Patrick really working hard, intricately at that second notch, and he's comfortable with the second board.
A couple years ago, Marcel Dupuis had 2 slabs, serious slabs. Actually, he fell to the ground in the springboard chop, so he started using the duct tape, and you can see some of the guys doing the same thing. It's pretty cheap insurance to keep them up on the pole. But as they get into their smaller wood here on the front side, they try to take, of course, a big chunk out of the first side of their wood. Oh, as we can see, Trevor Schofield here opening up to a big knot. And now Dave Patrickin opens up to a knot. So this is going to slow these guys down a lot.
Now, Dave's board is starting to settle a little bit. You see his back right foot out there starting to go down, which means the board is settling down in the notch a little bit, too much.
And he can feel that. You see his back foot every now and then, he slides it ahead a little bit, so he's not feeling as comfortable. Once he does that and moves a little bit closer to the pole, he starts doing what we call arm chopping. He's using mostly his arms, not generating a whole lot of energy and power from his back leg on that springboard.
Both guys starting to tire right now. It looks like Trevor Schofield, his speed and his strength and his accuracy are starting to catch Dave Patrick, and Dave Patrick's getting really tired on his second board right now as he sucks himself closer to the pole.
Well, Trevor Schofield, of course, taking the sport very seriously. He has himself in really good shape, as you can see. He's got the wind, he's got the strength, and with this big wood on the top now, he's starting to get into the small wood. He's going to be putting drivers in and thinking about getting around and slicing this thing off.
You can see on Dave's block there, it's a classic example of a staircase right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different lines as both guys make their turn to the backside at the exact same time.
It's going to come down to who has the most steam here right now. Dave Patrick, and he's tiring out as he tries to reach that far wood, but Trevor Schofield still got some gas in the tank, and it's Trevor Schofield getting it done in 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
You had to spend a lot of time in those notches doing a lot of fine tuning. Some people go in there with their hands. You were really fine tuning with your axe.
I was trying to fine tune with my axe. I had a little bit of side slope from my top board, which makes it harder to chop. Don't think I'm keeping my elbow up and my head down and really looking into my notch there to make sure it's cleaned out real good.
Well, Rod, we all know that you don't want to spend a lot of time on that second board, so you should spend a little bit more time on that notch. It's got to be deep, it's got to be firm. You really want to be comfortable on that second board as you chop through the block up top.
No question. With this next heat, two big guys, big burly lads in this heat, they're going to spend a little bit of time on that second notch to make sure it'll hold for them.
Well, here's Mike Esch taking on Berlin Nickerson. Mike Esch, one of the few American competitors we have here this weekend, and Berlin Nickerson, the lobster fisherman from Nova Scotia.
Well, it's off-season for him lobster fishing, but it's basically on-season for lumberjack sports, and he's got his hands full here with Mike Esch. Mike cut his teeth on white pine. He loves white pine. He's a white pine chopper. He used to compete with me actually almost 25 years ago now, run the circuit in New Brunswick years and years ago, and first time we've seen Mike back here in actually almost 20 years.
Well, Mike is from Pennsylvania. He's actually a jeweler by trade, but he's also an axe specialist. A lot of the competitors down south of the border go to him for expertise in grinding their axes.
Oh, a couple things right off the bat I noticed about Berlin. He shook his head as soon as he got up on his top board, and he's not using the loop he uses for his front foot. You can see it right here. He's ahead of that because his board's sagging. He's not happy with the set on this second board. He's going to have to arm chop this thing to get it done.
Well, I'm really surprised that Berlin is going ahead with this board. Look at the slant on that board. He actually needs that loop on his back foot so it doesn't slide off. He's got to go through 10 inches round of lumber up top there while he's sliding backwards. He's not going to be able to get any strength in his swings.
No, and it's really tough wood. As you can see, these guys are slowing down at the top here. They're getting around 2 minutes. Usually this takes about a minute to get the springboard done, so the wood's hard. Their boards aren't good. Mike's got a good board here, but of course, again, he's getting a little bit winded. And of course, Berlin looks at the field and says, man, there's some strong guys here. I got to go for it. So he's given it all he has, but boys, the odds are against him here right now as Mike gets into the smaller wood here on side number 2, also slowing down.
Well, you got to give Berlin a little bit of credit here. His right front foot there is right up against the pole. He's almost keeping pace with Mike, but you know, Berlin, over the years, I hardly ever see him get good board sets. He's in too much of a hurry.
Too much of a hurry, especially for a thing like springboard chop, but the guy's so strong, and same as Mike Esch here, they're strong. He's hanging with it now. Berlin, he's only a few seconds behind him, and he's going to get ready to slice this thing off. As Mike Esch also running out of a little bit of gas, he's going to be glad to see it down here, but look at that, sets a new time to beat, 1 minute, 50 seconds.
And Berlin literally hanging in there. You know, they call you the axe guru. Just tell me about axe selection. When you come to a competition you've never been to before and selecting an axe.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky here. The wood's a little stickier than our wood. That's pretty good wood, really, so it wasn't that much of a problem.
Well, the first 2 heats are now in the books, and the guys were struggling to break the 2-minute barrier. We got 4 excellent choppers still to come, and these guys will be looking to break the 1-minute barrier.
We're here in Florenceville, New Brunswick, in the upper St. John River Valley. This valley is a big agricultural area. Florenceville was a village that was amalgamated with this next village, Bristol, in 2007. It's now a town of Florenceville, Bristol. The village of Bath is another 4 kilometers up the river, and that's the location for the Lumberjack competition. Also the location of the Balloon Festival that's going on this weekend. We've got I'll say a 4th small village 5 miles to the west of us called Centerville, and between those 4 villages that they each have schools, and that comprises the population of this area. The main employer in this area, and really a large employer in this upper valley area, is McCain Foods, located just down the road from here. The whole area is very heavily agricultural based. Potatoes are the main crop, of course, and potatoes are what McCain processes. They are the largest French fry processor in the world. In addition to potatoes, there's other farming activity that goes on here in the valley. Obviously, businesses cannot survive without the community, and businesses need to support what's going on here. We were happy to see this opportunity come up a year ago when Charles McNair decided that they would have the Lumberjack competition, and he was looking for some help, and we were happy to climb on board because we need all the, number one, we need all kinds of activities here for locals, but we also need to encourage others to come into this small area because we can't survive simply with an operation like mine with 39 rooms, can't survive simply with local local people.
And many thanks to the Floresville Inn and Vernon Thomas for putting us up here this Labor Day weekend at the Balloon Festival in Bath, New Brunswick, and the Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition. Before the break, we had a couple of springboard choppers. Only one guy coming down below the 2-minute mark. This next heat, surely we're gonna get close to a minute. Nathan Cumberland taking on Marcel Dupuis.
Well, these guys have been leading the way in springboard chops lately. New Brunswick, you see Nathan Cumberland setting his first board already, so he's off on a good pace. Marcel Dupuis right behind him.
Well, these guys have had a lot of great battles over the years, and when they are pitted against each other, they know they got a battle on their hands.
And both guys you can see struggling right now. Marcel Dupuis in really tight to his pole, so his first board's not great. Nathan's just butchered his top pocket, so it took him about 5 or 8 extra strokes here to get the second board in.
And it's a mirror image. Both guys, axes in the wood, exact same time. Look at the block there on Nathan. Big knot on this side over here. He's gonna try and work his way around it. A big slab there by Marcel, and he smashes his way through it.
Wow, he got through that. That's usually a really dangerous thing to have a hang-in chip like that, but he's done a good job getting through it. Who is Nathan is going to be chopping through this ugly wood on this side of the block that we can see. Marcel's looks pretty clean as he's getting into the small wood.
And he's just trying to finish off the first side there. His board's starting to sag a little bit. A messy piece of wood there for Nathan as he tries to finish off his first side.
Good example here of really springy wood. See that mushy wood in the middle? It'll actually grab your axe, so that's going to slow him down with that wood in there as Marcel gets ready to take it off. And look at that, Marcel Dupuis just over a minute, 1:06. That's going to be a tough time to beat.
There's a really good climb there, but you were happy to get off that first board. The first board, you made it quick and up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was just taking a chance in the first board. I knew I had to race, so just did a quick first board. But the second hole took me a few more hits than I wanted to, but I knew it was deep, so it was going to hold me good.
Well, 106 is going to be a tough time to beat. This is our last heat, the springboard chop. We have veteran competitor Donald Lambert from St. Gilles, Quebec, taking on young Ben Cumberland, Nathan's older brother.
Captain Canada, and he actually is a great climber. He has a good climb on the springboard chop. Don Lambert, though, in the twilight of his career, and still, he's the Energizer Bunny, still going strong.
Well, we've seen the Rico man take off many people over the years, from Gaston and JP, now taking on guys half his age in Ben Cumberland.
And doing a good job staying right with him, although that is not a good board. He won't be happy with that. Ben's not going to take long, 6 strokes, and he'll be up on board number 2, as he is setting that board, and he's going to go up. This is his Achilles heel once he gets on the second board.
And Lambert's going back down to do his first board. He was way too close to the tree, couldn't even get his second notch done. He's got to fix that first notch, get the board back in to get a good second notch. Ben Cumberland into his block up top.
Well, that won't slow Donald down too much. Again, he's a great competitor. Ben's getting into the smaller wood already, though. Starting to slow down because, again, he's not real comfortable with heights when he gets up on that second board. He can climb like crazy, but this is what slows Ben down in his springboard chop.
And you can easily see with the hydro lines in the background there, the actual relationship to the pole. There's a lot of shaking Ben Cumberland's pole, and that's got to be a little bit unnerving when you're standing 9 feet in the air.
Did a good job. He actually had 2 knots there. He worked around them as good as you can. You're just gritting your teeth the whole time you open up to a knot, hoping that you're actually not going to damage your axe.
Well, both guys are happy with their second boards right now. Ben has made his turn over to the backside. It looks like he's going to take one chip out and start driving things off. Donald Lambert is not going to catch him, and they're not going to take down the time to beat. But Ben Cumberland wins this heat with a 1:15.3 over Donald Lambert, good enough for second place in the springboard. So you had a 4-4 climb. You got to be happy with that. But were you really happy with your second board? It looked a little bit flat.
Yeah, it was. Actually, for where I drew my lines, it was pretty much perfect for me. But I don't know. I'm still a little nervous on that one. Just gotta trust my notches.
Maybe spend a day or two with Jamie Koger, who actually also conquered his fear of heights to get over that when you get up there. But Marcel Dupuis takes them all down with 1:06, taking first place in the springboard chop.
Closed captioning is brought to you by 1867 Confederation Log and Timber Frame, Canada's leader in log and timber frame homes since 1979. This is living.
Welcome back to Bath, New Brunswick, and the Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition here in the eye of potato country. It's part of the Balloon Festival held every Labor Day weekend here in Bath. We have a great crowd on hand. Earlier before the break, we were showing the men's springboard chop. We're changing gears right now to the Echo women's stock saw.
The ladies are using Echo 620 stock saws. They're going to be cutting through 12 inches of aspen. They only are given 4 inches of wood to get 2 cuts on the deck.
Now the first of 2 heats, we have Molly Murphy taking on Jessie Swinimer. Both these women are products of the college system here in Eastern Canada.
Yeah, we'll chat about that in a bit and how much that's strengthened the Maritime Lumberjack Associates in the last few years. But right now, Jess Swinimer, first one to get a cookie on the deck. It looks like Molly Murphy having all kinds of trouble with knots here. Jess has a little bit of a hit, but she gets it down on the deck. 12.2 seconds.
And with only 1 heat to go, it's going to be a tough time to beat. Pretty flawless first cut there, but a couple of bobbles in the second cut. You were into the wood, but twice I think you almost bogged it down.
Yeah, I noticed I went into the wood a little bit crooked on my upcut, so I was really trying to not go over the line and a little bit hesitant because I didn't want to DQ there by cutting out over the line.
Now looking at that replay, you can certainly see where Jesse bogged that thing down and the sawdust just stopped coming out of the saw, top part of the bar. Here's a couple more graduates from the intercollegiate system here in Eastern Canada. Caitlin Carroll taking on Kelly Bonus.
Well, Caitlin Carroll was last year's national champion in the ladies division. This year it's Kelly Bonus, and they're going head-to-head here in the stock saw, and it's like Kelly Bonus is way out in front right now.
Now you can see the experience these women have. They were both really quick to the wood. Kelly Bonus flawless in that first cut, ahead of Caitlin right now. Kelly Bonus, oh, she bogs down at the end once, twice. Kelly Bonus does not take down the time to beat, only good enough for second place. Jessie Swinemer wins the women's stock saw. Good job there. You know you had a race on your hands with Caitlin Carroll, although she struggled a little bit there. Just tell me about the very end there. You seem to be a little bit too aggressive at the end.
Yeah, a little bit too aggressive trying to pull up that chainsaw through the cookie, and I bogged it down a bit, actually a couple of times.
Well, once again, looking at the replay, you can see exactly where Kelly cost some time. Right at the end of her second cut, Jessie Swinemer wins the Echo stock saw with a time of 12.24.
Power on and on. Echo.
Today I'm going to be talking about safe chainsaw starting procedures. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you have your personal protection equipment in place. I have my helmet, I have my debris shield, I have my glasses, and I have my hearing protection. I also have my gloves, I have my safety chaps, and I have my work boots. The next thing you're going to want to make sure is that you're on a flat, even surface. You can now check to make sure that your chain brake is engaged. Check your chain tension and make sure that the chain is not too loose. From there, we can make sure that the machine is in the on position. We're gonna pull out the choke for the cold starting procedure. Now I'm gonna pull the starter cord until I hear the engine pop. Once I hear the engine pop, I'm gonna push the choke in for warm running procedures, and I'm gonna pull the engine over until it starts. Once the engine starts, I'm gonna deactivate the chain brake, and I'm gonna pop the throttle to deactivate the fast idle feature. Once that is complete, you can reactivate the chain brake, and you'll be free to move around. Let me show you how it's done. I heard the engine pop. I'm gonna push the choke in for warm running procedure. And that's how you start a chainsaw.
Well, we're not going to be starting any chainsaws this next competition. Looks like the whole town of Bath is out here for the Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition. Total population of this town is 532. I think they are all here this weekend. We're heading into the single buck competition. In total, we're going to be showing the top 4 heats. This first heat, Ryan McIntyre taking on Mike Esch. What is that, about 17 inches of round wood there?
Yeah, 16 inches of round white pine. So Mike Esch is on the left, Ryan McIntyre on the right. So this is an international duel here right now in the single buck. Both guys, this isn't their strong event. Mike Esch struggling to get a nice big full stroke, and Ryan McIntyre doing a really tough job here. He's actually healing the blade. You can see him pushing down a lot at the last little bit of his stroke. That's called healing, and you don't want to do that.
That's exactly what he did to cause his saw to buckle, and a real close finish there with Ryan McIntyre just edging out Mike Esch with a 16.76 and the time to beat. Nice cut all the way through there. You got a little bit excited and maybe a hang up just after halfway. Tell me what happened there.
Yeah, a little bit excitable, and I wasn't getting all the way to the wood. I was short stroking on the way in, and so when I tried to fix that, it just changed the angle and probably got hung up on the pull stroke maybe.
Well, Rod, you certainly called it there. It's important to keep your saw blade flat, and Ryan didn't do that. Cost him a few seconds by healing it and buckling his saw. Time to beat 16.76. We have 3 heats to go. This next heat, Donald Lambert, the master, taking on Jeff Larkin.
Well, the talent in single buck is deep in the east. There's a lot of really good cutters here. Don Lambert struggling right out of the gate. Jeff Larkin getting into the small wood. He's a great single bucker. He's on his way to a good time.
Look at the saw dropping on the left-hand side by Larkin. Donald Lambert just about a second behind him, but he lowers the time to beat down to 10.69. I know it's not easy, but that certainly looked easy. 11 seconds. You're not even breathing hard. Just tell me about pushing that saw.
I don't know. I just went in. It looked like a lot of the other competitors had a tough block, and I just went in with that first pull back, and it seemed to cut not too bad, and I figured I could weight it, and I think around 10 or 11 strokes, so I'm quite happy with it.
Well, any athlete will tell you the way to get better is to saw and compete against the best. And that's what's happening here in the Maritime Lumberjack Association with guys like J.P. Mercier, Don Lambert, Marcel Dupuis, the Cumberland boys, Scotty Reed, all phenomenal single buckers, all going head-to-head. Look at this, Scotty Reed taking on Ben Cumberland, two other really good single buckers, and they're pushing it.
Both guys going to try and take down the 10.69. Is the time to beat right now. Looks like Scotty Reed is buckling out. Scotty breaks off his cut. Cumberland wins the heat, and Scott Reed is still trying to finish his cut. Now, we've heard a lot about your saw, which is probably among the best in the world. Just tell me about pulling that through white pine. It's got to be so aggressive, and how strong you have to be on an aggressive saw like that in white pine.
Yeah, the saw is actually specifically built by JP for Nathan and I. It's a lot of strengthening of my legs so that I actually have the motor power to get through.
Well, he talks about motor power. We're going to see a little bit of motor power here in this last heat. Marcel once again taking on Nathan. Earlier we saw them in the springboard chop. Now they're going head-to-head. Time to beat 10.34 in the single buck.
Well, they know Ben's one of the best single buckers here, and he made a couple of boo-boos, so they know there's room to lower this time. Both guys are going for it. Look at this, they're in the small wood already.
It's going to be a photo finish right down to the end there. And looks like Nathan Cumberland just edges out Marcel to win the single buck here at the Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition. So there's probably somewhat of a little advantage to go last. You know, you get to see how the saws are working, how the wood is going, all those sort of things, how the other competitors are reacting to the wood. Just tell me about that.
Yeah, typically it can be your advantage to be in the last seat, or you can make it a disadvantage to you because you get looking at what the other guys are doing, and you get looking in your head and thinking to yourself, you know, oh, I can do it in this, I can do it in that. So you kind of just have to settle down, watch the other guys, see how their saws are cutting, you know, get a bit of an idea for it. But then just when you get up there, just do your own thing.
And the crown pivotal point today, folks, on Donald Lambert using the top three in the single buck, and you can see a changing of the guard here as he finishes 5th place with all these up-and-coming single buckers.
And it's early in the game here at the Trevors Goodine Lumberjack competition. It's going to be a battle right to the finish. We still have a couple more episodes to go. Right now, it's a race between Marcel, Nate, and Ben at the top of the board.
And the lumberjack of the day today is a lumberjill, Jess Swinemer, fresh out of the college ranks, but boy, she does a great job eliminating the field and taking 1st place in the ladies' stock saw.
And many thanks to Charles McNair and his entire crew for putting on this lumberjack competition here in Bath. Come back again next week when it'll be time for lumberjacks.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922. Yamaha, rev your heart.
It's awesome watching lumberjack competitions, but there's a lot more to it than just what we see as far as crowning an overall champion at the end of the show. In the Maritime Lumberjack Association on the east coast of Canada, we actually have a series here, and it's made up of about 6 or 7 different shows. Sometimes they get filmed, sometimes they don't. But the competitors are amassing points towards an overall lumberjack and lumberjill of the year. They get 5 points for a 1st place finish, 4 points for a 2nd place finish, in every event down to 1 point for a 5th place finish.